Microsoft's Xbox One has a bunch of different amazing video games that you can play on it. With it being the best console that they've ever released, there's a huge amount of options that people can dive into. But there are some that stand out from the crowd. So today we are diving into our favorite picks for the top 10 best games for the Xbox One. So far, that is. You'll probably notice that not many on this list are Xbox exclusives. But keep in mind that we're looking at how these games perform specifically on the console. Plus, if you're a strictly loyal Xbox gamer, the future does look pretty bright for you, since Microsoft acquired a bunch of indie studios that they announced this past E3. So expect next year's list to look pretty darn different. Anywho, with all that in mind, let's jump in. And at number 10, The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 typically lands on most best of games lists, so seeing it on ours should be no surprise. An immersive and in-depth open world, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt brings back Geralt of Rivia, whose adventures this time around will preoccupy you for hours on end. The game is a commitment, friends, but one that is filled with fantastic characters, witty writing, and a whole lot to unearth and discover. It's also got a sense of humor that many a player will appreciate. If you are big fans of Skyrim or any of the Elder Scrolls games, and you're looking for an alternative to play, The Witcher 3 is a game that you can jump into to satisfy your craving. Up next at 9, Rise of the Tomb Raider. If you are a big fan of the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot from developer Crystal Dynamics, you're going to love Rise of the Tomb Raider. Initially a timed exclusive for Microsoft, Rise of the Tomb Raider came out to rave reviews, with critics praising the emotional story and well-developed characters, plus the stunning graphics and how unique each and every location was. If you were a fan of Lara Croft as being a much more relatable human being in her last game, this one, despite not having as strong of a story, will definitely be up your alley. Plus, the game's DLCs put Lara up against the likes of swamp witches and zombies, and that's pretty darn cool. And at number 8, XCOM 2. XCOM 2 is the reboot of the 2012 XCOM Enemy Unknown, and it adjusted many of the issues that players and critics had with the other title. Released in 2016 by 2K, it was nominated for a slew of Game of the Year awards, and was praised for its new concealment system and procedural generation of maps that shook things up, and kept the game consistently feeling fresh while still managing to maintain a lot of depth. Many missions also included timers, and the addition of new aliens made players who were fans of the previous game rethink their approaches and strategies. It's also one of the more difficult games on this list, but for those looking for a really strong challenge in the strategy department, XCOM 2 is worthwhile. Moving on to number 7, The Witness. The Witness is different than most of the other titles on this list. That's because it falls into the puzzle genre category. As most critics noted, it's a simple game with complex puzzles that will leave players feeling incredibly engaged. A first-person puzzle adventure, The Witness puts you in the shoes of an unnamed character, who's exploring an island that has a bunch of structures and natural formations, roughly divided into 11 regions around a mountain, with reaching that mountain being your ultimate goal. Each area is filled with puzzles for you to solve, and finishing puzzles activates a turret. When all turrets are unlocked, you'll be able to access the inside of the mountain and finish the game. Now, if you were a fan of the puzzle game Myst, The Witness is definitely something that you'd want to give a go. And at number 6, Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 really upped its game compared to its predecessor. If you're unfamiliar with it, Titanfall 2 is a first-person shooter that lets you pilot mecha-style exoskeletons that are equipped with a variety of abilities. Including a single-player campaign that was praised for its design and execution, along with several multiplayer modes, critics felt that this sequel/reboot was an incredibly fluid shooter that really learned from its previous title in terms of proper pacing that keeps players much more invested. Described as frantic and exhilarating, it's often considered one of the most intellectually driven first-person shooters out there, with its players being forced to think tactically and strategically in order to succeed. Up next at 5, Gears of War 4. Gears of War 4 is the perfect game for those who like co-op and those who like the idea of blasting the crap out of enemies. In a sophisticated way, of course. The third-person shooter is a Microsoft exclusive, and if you've ever played a Gears of War game, you're bound to be satisfied by this entry in the franchise. All of the previous elements in the game that you loved are back, and it even introduces a few new ones, like the drop shot weapon that fires explosive drills, and the buzzkill weapon that fires ricocheting saw blades. Yup. You can play the campaign solo or in co-op with a second player, or locally online. Departing from its previous developer Epic Games and now developed by the Coalition, many critics felt that it was a refreshing take on the series that didn't sacrifice a lot of the aspects that fans loved about the previous Gears titles. In addition to this, Microsoft has committed to continuously updating the game too, and that's pretty swell. In our number 4 spot, Overwatch. Overwatch is a game that has captivated millions of players. A team-based multiplayer first-person shooter, it's Blizzard Entertainment's belle of the ball these days, and it's easy to see why. With a diverse cast of over 20 characters, each with a very unique style of play, it's quickly become one of the most beloved and competitively played video games in the last few years. It's got a lot of charm and a devoted fanbase, and markets itself as a friendly online shooter, having managed to appeal and draw in many new players players to the genre. Up next at 3, Fortnite. How could Fortnite not make this list? Another cartoonish multiplayer shooter game, Fortnite has pretty much taken over the globe with its free-to-play, highly addictive, and highly competitive nature. Whether you're just goofing around with your pals in a squad or going solo, it's become a game that a wide range of younger demographics have become compelled by. Plus, the game keeps evolving. With developer Epic Games constantly releasing updates, it doesn't feel like the game will be getting old anytime soon, thanks to the never-ending influx of new events, challenges, skins, and much more. One of the benefits of having Fortnite on your Xbox is that you can use the Xbox Play Anywhere feature and sync it up with your PC, which is super useful not only if you're addicted and being kicked off your TV by your family or roommates, but also if you want to dabble in streaming and feel that a PC would better suit your style of play for the game. In our number 2 spot, Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World took the Capcom series to the next level. Adopting the series' standard formulas from its older home console titles and more recent handheld ones, the experience of playing this game really blew the minds of Monster Hunter fans. It's also improved upon a lot. Long gone are the zones, and instead we now have a game with a fully connected world. Capcom has made use of AI to better craft their monsters, create living ecosystems, all while making it one of the most captivating multiplayer experiences to date. It's also got a great sense of community. Prior to the game's release, fans of the series created an official program called Adopt a Hunter, in which more experienced players were paired up with new players in order to teach them more about the game. And finally, and at number 1, Cuphead. Cuphead may not be a game for everybody, but it's a game that's undeniably brilliant in the way that it presents itself. For starters, its entire aesthetic is inspired by 1930s art styles the likes of the Fleischer Brothers, and its soundtrack has got some serious Cab Calloway Duke Ellington vibes. Not to mention the characters are so incredibly unique and unlike anything we've ever really seen from a video game before, at least when it comes to this caliber of quality. The reason why Cuphead may not be everyone's cup of tea, pun totally intended, is that many people find it a little difficult. The shoot-'em-up side-scroller often requires players to pay attention to timing and precision, and as you progress it only gets harder, but it is oh so worth it. Alright, there we have it friends, which one of these games is your favorite? Were there ones that we left out on our list that you think should have scored a spot? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for all of your gaming needs, from lists to news to updates and much more. Plus, if you want to dive down the YouTube rabbit hole with us now, why not click the playlist that's currently flashing on your screen. In the meantime, thanks for watching everybody, I'll catch you all in the next video.